Hello, and welcome to Ask Her, where you, the audience, get to ask questions of somebody you may not be able to interact with on a day-to-day basis. It's a place to grow.
A praise.
That too. Praise him. It's a praise? No, it's a place to grow, learn, understand for everyone, and that's the glue. I'm one of your hosts, Big Irish Jay Hollingsworth.
And I'm Kev on stage, and this is Ask a Professional Drummer with Joy the Drummer, a.k.a. Vinzella Joy. Clap for her in the studio.
Yeah.
Audience. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
As you may or may not know, Joy the Drummer. We're gonna Josh, put the Coachella clip in. Right here. Put it in.
Oh, we're doing editing.
No, we're doing editing right there. This is Joy opening up Beyonce's performance at Coachella. Okay. So that's who Joy is. She plays drums professionally for Beyonce. But I want to go back in your career. The way this works, me and Jay ask some questions, and then we'll ask the questions of the audience. So
Okay.
obviously, you're at the top of your game right now playing with Beyonce. I first found out about you, like probably a lot of people, on Making a Band. You were on Making a Band with Diddy and, let's see, Lynn was on keys. Brock. He was like a vampire. That's what people said. I didn't say that about him. I respected him. And you, and unfortunately, that's all the people that I remember. So what was that like? Because you're from Buffalo originally, right?
Buffalo, New York.
Buffalo, New York to Beyonce.
Yes.
How the world does that happen?
Oh, man. First of all, a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
A lot of hard work. And Buffalo, my hometown, it's not typically the type of place where, you know, like different tour managers or different talent agents, you know.
You're telling me scouts ain't like, we're missing Buffalo, New York. They got some amazing talent out there. And wings.
Buffalo Wings. Drummers.
Wings and Niagara Falls is probably 1, 2.
Yeah.
And the Bills.
And
then Joy the Drummer.
Hey.
There you go.
I'll take it. But with that being the case for Buffalo, I just knew I had to like travel a lot. Mm-hmm. So I would go to different conventions, different places where I could do networking and such.
Like NAMM?
NAMM was a big one and still is. Like I'm still a huge part of NAMM.
What's NAMM stand for?
National Association of Music.
Music.
Yep.
I don't know what it stands for. I'm assuming it's National Association though.
Of merchants in music, I think it is.
So you only had one letter wrong.
Something like that. Yeah.
But all the musicians be coming and pulling up and like jamming, shedding. I pulled up a couple times.
Shedding or
Shedding.
shredding?
Shedding.
Oh,
Shedding?
Shedding is like when musicians get it. He's not a musician. I play the bass.
Hey, and drums.
And drums.
Drum solo.
I fell off the drums one
Shedding.
time. I was actually in upstate New York when that happened. I was at
That's right.
Cornell University. I can't remember what city it's in. Utica, I think. But shedding is when musicians get together and just play.
I thought that was shredding.
No, shredding is when you're going ham.
Oh.
I'm telling you, it's shedding, Jay.
Okay.
It's like practicing.
I thought it was just jamming.
No, man,
let's have
you're
a jam
white. You
session.
wouldn't know.
Hey guys, let's play some music. Is that what it's called?
Okay, so you're in Buffalo and you're networking.
In Buffalo, I'm traveling, I'm networking, and I'm also putting out quality videos of myself playing drums.
That was one of my questions I was going to ask you, but
Yeah.
because you don't do that much anymore.
I know, I need to get back on it.
I mean, do you though? I mean,
Do you need to do it?
where else can you go from here? I feel like your resume now speaks for itself, so I don't know if you have to, but I understand the sentiment. I mean, like where you can't go any higher than where you are. You literally cannot. There's no musician you can play for that is like, well, after Beyonce, she went on to the guy from American Idol. I mean, there's nobody even close. So I think you're good.
The guy from American Idol. That's funny.
Taylor, the guy, remember him with the black and gray hair?
The older guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, look at the old dude. We love him. But he didn't win.
Oh.
Anyway, I digress. So you used to put a lot of music videos online. Now, wait, at this time in your life, where were you posting them?
I was posting them on YouTube.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm old school, so I was posting them on YouTube.
It's so funny that YouTube is old school.
Yeah.
Back in my day.
Facebook too. I was posting a lot of videos on Facebook as well. So I was getting a lot of hits from that. And like different people were seeing them and kind of reaching out like, hey.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like my thing, like traveling and then just, making sure I was visible online.
Got it.
Yeah.
So how did you get to making the band? Was it from your videos?
No, actually, I used to watch Making the Band faithfully every Monday night.
Dial on.
Making
the Band was quality reality television.
Man, like, I was hooked.
Yeah, it was
like,
so good.
I was in college when it was going on, so I was like scheduling my classes, like no classes on Monday nights.
Dang.
Like
Dang.
I'm watching Diddy. So I was like, you know, just like every other Monday, I was watching it, and he came on and made the announcement, and he was like, next season, he was like, I'm looking for instrumentalists and singers to go on tour with me, and I was like,
Did you have drumsticks in your hand at that time? You're just like.
Must get
Me?
Diddy.
Me, Diddy?
The drumsticks start like glowing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But so I was like, man, so it just clicked. So I was like, I'm going to try. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's gonna happen, but like, why not try?
Right.
Yeah.
So I hit my sister up who plays bass and had her audition with me. Well, not with me because you did it individually.
Yeah,
but like we
y'all
drove
went together.
up. Yes.
Okay.
And I was like, we got to do this Diddy thing. Like he's looking for a band now, like not just singers, but like actual band. And they're gonna tour with him. So she's like, cool. So we drove from Buffalo to Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Did the audition. I made it through maybe like 3 rounds in Detroit.
Yeah.
And it was like the typical like cattle call audition, like waiting outside in Detroit.
Yeah. How long
It's
did
like,
you wait
woo,
outside?
I waited maybe like a solid 3 hours outside.
Oh, dang.
Like,
Couldn't be me.
Was it during the winter?
It was during winter. It
Oh,
was like
no.
ridiculous. But I was like, you know,
Yeah.
do what I got to do. So made it through maybe like 3 rounds, then got the boot. I was like, dang. Like I was
You
just like,
didn't make it through the first time?
no, I did not
What?
make it through. I did. And the song I didn't make it through on was Diddy's song Last Night.
Last night.
Yay.
I don't remember the words. That's a hard song to play though, isn't it?
For me at that time it was.
Yeah.
Because it's like, to me the parts were kind of intricate because you're playing like claps and toms, snare, like, and I was just kind of like, ooh. So when I got up there, I kind of like froze. I was like, doom, cha, doom, doom. And it was like,
Did you know at the moment you're like,
I was like, that ain't
I
no
probably-
good. I might as well like just took my number off and just walked out.
I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna let myself
Yeah,
out.
man, waste no more time.
I can't get it. And that's not straight time either, right? That song?
No, it is. It is.
Yeah, I thought about
It is.
I thought it was 4 or 5. I don't know.
No, I feel. It's 4-4. I just sucked at the time, you know.
At the end, did you go like this?
Man, I should have because I sounded like a joke.
Oh, no.
So I was like really down about that. I was like, man, like this is like my big thing that I was like really working hard towards. So went back to Buffalo, drove back. And while in Buffalo, I was like trying to decide. I'm like, should I go like re-audition? Because the auditions were consecutive weekends. So the next one was the next Saturday. So I was like, man, I don't know. So just random. I was like driving and I saw this Diddy billboard. It was like a Ciroc billboard. I was like, that's my sign. I'm
Yeah,
going
exactly. I need to become an alcoholic.
back. Re-audition.
Yeah.
Right.
So I like saw that sign and like considered that my little sign. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back. So I went back the following weekend, and this time my mom went with us too, and it was so much fun.
Huh.
So we got like this cool little hotel in Times Square. Like we just were like, we're making like a trip out of it too. Like we're gonna have a good time, no matter what happens. It was a fun trip to New York, so we had a blast. Went in that time and like nailed it. So
Did you have to play that song again?
Yeah, and just because how I am, like the first song I played was that one, like boom, like
Really?
this time.
So in between, were you at home like I gotta
going crazy on drums
until you
like,
made sure you had that?
I was like, I'm gonna start off with Last Night because last time I started off with American Boy, they give you like maybe 5 or 6 songs
Estelle.
to and
This
I
is a
was
great
like,
song. I love it.
you know, that was my song. So
Right.
you could choose out of the 5 or 6 songs which one you wanted to play first. I was like,
So you came back like last night. Now I don't care about. I'm going hard on this right now.
Last
I'll
night.
show him.
Like, what are you playing? I'm like, Last Night.
That's the best song she's at now in her life. Like I will kill that song at any time of my life. If there are drums in that song, I'm going off.
I'm going on.
And you were like, I'm going to play Last Night, where they like, well, we remember last time, so.
Oh, last time. Oh, wait. 'Cause I was like, if I can nail that one, then all the other ones are like a piece of cake.
Yeah.
For me, how I heard the music. So I went in with that one, blazed it, and then ended up making it like through just about all the rounds. So after New York, we came here to LA, did more auditioning, and did our final audition to move into the house at the Orpheum Theater, which was cool. So I made it through that, and then ended up like 2 weeks in the house. So I thought that was pretty cool, but got the boot again. You know, that old boot just keeps following me.
But that's amazing, though. I think that's super dope because I think people, you never really realize how you get there, how you get wherever you are. So you didn't make it the first time, made it through the second time, didn't even win, but that isn't the end of your story.
True.
So what happened after that?
So while I was there, I learned so much because I'm a church drummer. So the approach to, when I was like, you know, growing up in church.
Yeah, so he did like the game. He's like,
if you can play shouted music, you're already,
you halfway there?
You're halfway there.
So like just, you know, growing up in church, playing drums was a bit less informal than, you know, reading and, you know, learning music for tours and such. So
and playing the tracks.
Playing the tracks.
Playing the tracks is a lot harder than I thought it was.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't know. I can't do it.
No, I feel you.
I also never have to. But it's a lot harder. Like, because when you know, growing up playing church and it's all chops and
and just free flowing.
And then you're like, a tour musician, you a lot of time on making the band, need someone's like, you need to sound like the track.
Yeah.
And you don't have as much room to freestyle. So was that hard for you coming from the I cannot do that with my hands.
Yeah.
But with if you can do mouth drums, bro.
You can,
I will be a beat. But like actually doing the stuff that I can say, no.
Come on stage, the drummer, let's go.
I got the hand.
Yeah. The posture, the face. Yeah.
I got all that, but the ability to play and do that stuff. But was that a hard transition from the free flowing, you know, ness of church to like, all right, play this song like the track?
Yeah. And the thing is, the concept, it's almost like I had it backwards. Like the concept of play the song exactly how it is shouldn't be harder than freestyling over it. You know?
Yeah.
So like I come from doing all these chops and such, and it's like, okay, play the song just as it is. And even like during the audition process, some drummers who were impeccable drummers, like somehow I guess they didn't get the memo. So they went in and played like a little bit of the song and started like chopping crazy.
Right.
On the side, like, whoa, that's crazy. Just like doing too much, you out. And we're like, whoa.
So I know like, you're just like, hold up.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to do.
Right. I'm like,
yeah.
Like, oh man. So yeah, it was a challenge for me, like just kind of maintaining or like kind of establishing discipline.
Right.
That's what it was overall.
Right.
But that really helped me because like on the larger stages, unless the MD or artist specifically says like, hey, go ham or go crazy, it's still that concept, like Nissan said, of playing the record how it is and making it feel good.
Man, did that ever feel restricting? Like, bro, I could kill this if y'all just let me loose a little bit.
Right.
Give me like 2 measures and get off, and I'll be right back on.
Bars, like, I'll be right back. Like,
right. But Beyonce let you get off sometimes.
Sometimes.
When I saw you guys at Dodger Stadium, first of all, I was on top of the stadium at this time in my life. I was like, man, those little people down there are great. But she let you, she was like, give it up. And you were, What does that feel like to have like literally hundreds of thousands of fans at that time? Everybody's looking at you, all the lights are on you, and you know you just went ham.
Man, that's an amazing feeling. Like, I just love entertaining. I love being on stage. And, like, to know that segment of the show, like, is, like, my little time.
Yeah.
Like, I started trying to come up with different little things to do after the solo because I knew the camera would still be on me for a little bit. So I started, like, thinking of different things. So, like... The one time we were in Houston or whatever, and B is from Houston.
Yeah.
I'm not from Houston, but I was like trying to figure out what would be like a cool little hand signal or something to do. So like I got done, I'm like, pow, and I stood up and I was like,
H-Town, no, it's going down.
Like, I feel like that was like one of the biggest responses I got
I know
from the
people
crowd
went ham.
They were like, man.
People from Houston love doing that with their hands.
Yeah. And they were like welcoming, like online. They're like, "Yeah, Houston," like thinking I'm from Houston.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Houston.
She did our
and then, everybody that isn't from Houston was like, Illuminati. That's a signal. I knew it. They're like, I knew it.
So I want to go back because I often get so excited that I don't let people finish their answers. I'm sorry, guys. I'm interested. Okay. So after making the band, then what happens?
After making the band, I was still in college then, so that was 2009.
That's crazy. I'm I think about like, at a young age this happening, and like, I mean, even if you're 30 or 40 and something's happening, it's overwhelming at that. But then you're in college.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Going from living in Buffalo to meeting Diddy in college,
man.
like in college, all I did was eat peanut butter. Nothing cool happened except getting
Looks
married.
like you graduated.
That's a big deal.
Okay, Jay, we got to stop interrupting
Okay,
her
sorry.
story.
No, it's
I'm just I'm saying it.
Okay, she goes back to college. Yes, I know.
Okay.
I'm excited too. I'm sorry.
So I'm in college, and but that was my junior year, and I also lost my mom my junior year in college. So it was like a weird year, man. And my mom's thing was like she wanted me to finish school, like no matter what. She was huge on education.
Yeah.
She was a nurse, and like all my siblings went to school and such. So with the Diddy thing happening junior year, I was like, I'm definitely going to do it, but I have to make a way for it to work with school. So I went to my professors and just told them what was going on. Like they all knew I played drums. And
Yeah.
and I'm like, I have this big opportunity, blah, 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 Diddy, this and that. So they pretty much let me just finish the work that I needed to for the semester. I just had to like hustle and do it like super early, but they allowed me to do that. So I came back from Diddy, went right back to school, of course, finished school.
What was that like? Were people like, oh, or had it not aired yet?
No, it aired because I feel like I had like a little like premiere party with like my college friends and stuff and like watched it. But
like, did they know? And she's like, oh yeah, I had a premiere. Yeah, it was in the
Room 3B.
gymnasium.
right. In the common area, the lounge. But so it aired and like everybody's just like really excited and like really hyped. Like everybody was like, I don't know, just celebrating and just excited. But like, so after that, I finished school, of course, and then the music thing was kind of like up and down for me. So 2010 is when I graduated, and right after graduating, I got a job at like a record store in Buffalo called Record Theater.
What?
Yeah.
You had to get a job after being on TV? I thought you was rich.
Yeah.
At that time in my life, I thought anybody on TV was rich. Like, oh, she was on Making the Band for 2 episodes, millionaire.
Yeah.
Nah, I did good with my money, but it wasn't like, bank, what I mean?
Right.
But so yeah, like I saw the Orlando Brown, like he was saying, like if somebody sees you working a regular job, like it wasn't like that for me yet because I had just done like that,
Yeah.
Versus now, if after Beyonce,
If I saw you at a record store, I'd be like, tough gig, huh?
Tough luck, kid.
Did your hands fall off or something?
Oh man, so I'm working in a record store and I'm just like still gigging and stuff too, but my main gig was the record store. And the weird thing is the album that Diddy was working on, Last Train to Paris, came out while I was working at the record store. And that was a little weird.
Yeah, you're looking at it like,
yeah,
this will never sell. Kick me off. I'll show you, Sean.
And the manager, he was excited. He's like, oh man, he's like, isn't it exciting? Like the show you were working on, the project is out and like you're like putting it on the shelf. Like he was like excited. And I'm like,
You're
no.
putting it on the shelves? Yes, that's
like,
exciting for me.
Bro, I'm like, this is not exciting at all. Like if anything, it's like a kick in the A. Like, I'm like, dang.
Oh, Joy does this thing where she doesn't cuss, but she just does the first letter of the cuss word. It is the funny. She does it.
You're
on
like,
Twitter.
I told that MF to.
She does it on Twitter all the time.
kiss my A.
It's so funny. I didn't know you did it in speaking too.
That's hilarious.
It's hilarious. That's a kick in the A, man.
That's funny.
Some bull ass.
Right. So your manager embarrasses you and he's an idiot. And then what's your next
I
move?
was just like, oh my gosh. So I worked at Record Theater for a little while longer. And I ended up booking a tour with Brent Jones, the gospel
TP
artist.
Mob?
Yeah.
I
So that
know.
was like my first tour. And I was like really excited about it.
Yeah, as you should have been.
Yeah. I was really excited. And it was only maybe like 2 weeks long. And it was in Italy. So that was the thing.
Oh, wow.
It was my
Oh,
first
snap.
tour. I hadn't been overseas yet, and it was like, music that I thought was cool to play and such. So I was like really excited about that.
Yeah.
So went to Italy, did that, came back, and after that, it was still more so like the local gigs.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
Buffalo scene, and maybe go out of town here and there.
Right, one-offs.
Yeah, one-offs and such. So it wasn't really my bread and butter. So then I ended up working
Gigging.
at.
I know the terms.
Hey, that's right.
Snare.
He's down.
Tom. I had.
Drumstick.
So when's the moment that you're like, oh snap, things are changing for Joy?
Man, I think it was kind of late in the game. I would say probably like 2013, 2012,
Really?
2013. Yeah, because before then it was just kind of like I worked at Geico after Record Theater. and after the Brent Jones tour.
How do you go back from touring, playing drums, which you love, to being like, so do you want full coverage or half or liability?
Man.
Have you seen our commercials?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It was rough. But like my thing is, like, I worked at Geico for a year and a half, and I knew that wasn't what I was destined to do. But at the same time, like, I wasn't going to be a struggling artist. Like, I still wanted to drive what I wanted to drive, live where I wanted to live, and be comfortable.
Right.
But it was like tough. Like, welcome. What was it? Hello, this is Vincella Joy. Welcome to Geico. Like, or whatever. And I was just like,
that was like, sorry to bother you.
Like,
that was your work voice.
yeah.
I mean, people don't. I mean, you know, when like we're all going after dreams that aren't like, you know, the regular 9 to 5, and a lot of people don't get it. I mean, I see comics I know that they'll talk about they were on some major TV show, or they had a role in something, or they were filmed doing some stand-up, and then like a month later they'll be talking about, so this Uber passenger I had,
right?
You know, I mean, it's just it's all what we do for the hustle.
Nature of the game.
Yeah,
it takes, I feel like it takes a special kind of person to know what you want to do and have dreams of that, and still have to work a regular job when you have like had a taste.
Because
one thing, you have never done it.
Gotta humble yourself.
You got to go on tour in Italy playing drums and then come back and work insurance.
Ooh.
Whew,
It was
that
rough, man.
stings.
What if you're like, I mean, to work at that record store and then have to go to Geico? I had a were you gonna say something else?
No, I was just gonna say Guitar Center too is another one of my jobs.
Okay, I was gonna say, so the drummer is, in my opinion, it's the foundation. It's the foundation of the band, right?
True.
Everybody follows your lead. So, what is it like being a female drummer? Like, does anybody, are they like, she's female drummer? Or like, do they ever have that in music? That
Yeah, sometimes like I'll come across people who almost think that I can't play the music as well as a male drummer or something. Like, it's very rare, but when it happens, it's like, woo.
and then you just like,
Man, get back into that last night mode. Like, okay, let's go. You know, but it's weird because you think that would be a thing of the past, but I still get it every now and again.
Yeah.
People kind of like, oh, this is the drummer? And it's like, ooh, like, yeah. I'm like,
do you feel like, all right, no, I'm gonna show you that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have to, really ain't want to have to go deep in my repertoire, but now I gotta embarrass you.
Yeah, and then afterwards, when they're like, dang, are you like, yeah, that's what I do.
Just nonchalant.
She's like, H, yeah.
Yeah.
H, yeah.
F you.
H, yeah. I'm the S.
So what's it like? Okay, fast forward us through until you get the call where you're like, oh snap, I'm going to be playing in Beyonce's band.
Oh my goodness. In Buffalo. It was my sister, who I talked about earlier, Vidi plays bass, my best friend. It was a Saturday night, and we were just kind of hanging out. Like, we had just went bowling and.
Oh man.
Okay, well, let me take it back.
Okay, take it back.
Beyonce's music director, Derek Dixie, was also on Making His Band. He was a contestant on drums. So that's like the divine order of it all. Like,
it's relationship, man.
Yeah.
Relationship means more than almost anything in this business. There's probably a drummer that's better than you. Probably comedians funnier than me, funnier than Jay. But when it's your boy, they're like, hey, this is my homegirl. That will get you further than this is the best drummer in the world.
That's true.
Because especially when you know I'm going to travel with somebody, you'd be like, like when I go on a tour, I took Josh, who I'd known for years, who I love, Tony, my boy, to hear because you don't want to travel with nobody you hate. Even if they're hilarious or better than, whatever, you want people to be cool with you. Like the show I do with Jay, like if I didn't like him, I'm not going to sit here and shoot 10 hours of this with him. Like, I don't care how funny he is or how many followers he has. I hate that dude. You know what I mean? But luckily, I love Jay. But anyway, I went on a tangent because people always think it's like you are the best at something. And often, of course, to be where you are, you have to be one of the best.
Yeah.
But also, being a good person, because there's sometimes on set, people won't get cast because they're like, oh, what do you think about this person? Somebody's like, oh, they're terrible on set. That will get you the job more than like he's not a good actor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, nobody
You always
likes to work
hear
with
just
that
be
dude.
easy to work
That's true.
with. Just be easy to work with. Yeah.
Being likable is much more important. The only thing better than ability is likability.
Come on.
My friend Doughboy says that all the time.
That is a word.
I can't stand that guy.
But Derek hit you up on a Saturday night in Buffalo after a crazy night of bowling.
Crazy night of
in
bowling.
Buffalo.
So I'm sorry, I'm telling it like out of sequence, but he hit me up 2 weeks before and he said, hey, can you send some videos playing some of Beyonce's music? So I was like, hyped. Like,
you know at the time that he works for Beyonce.
Yeah.
Okay, it wasn't like he just said that and you're like, oh, that's kind of a weird request. You knew, like, oh, this is a step towards. Okay, all right,
so
gotcha.
I was like, like he texted me and I feel like smoke was coming from
Yeah.
my phone. I was like,
yeah.
I was like, sure, like whatever you need, whatever. And he's kind of like, calm down, like just
Let me manage your expectations.
you know, I was like, okay, let me try and calm down. But he's like, I'm just kind of getting some videos from some different people, so just whenever you can, send it. So I'm like, sure. So right away, like, I hit up like all these studios. This was on a weekend too, but I hit up like a bunch of studios because I wanted to have like a nice presentation. And,
Right.
All the studios were booked. None of the videographers were available. And I was just like, man, that old Slewfoot devil. So I was like, dang. So I was like, okay, we're going to have to take the grassroots approach. So I went to my basement, had my iMovie open.
On your laptop?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
You lying.
I still have the
You
video
used the
somewhere.
laptop
You still have the video?
camera?
Yes.
It's not on YouTube's?
What?
Oh, exclusive. Join the
that's dope.
drummer.
Air horn, air horn.
That is so crazy that's how I first started my Zay's first video that went viral. We shot on my laptop front facing camera. Wow. And I be telling people you don't need high quality equipment when you're dope.
Man.
We're shooting this on an iPhone right now.
Shout out to Apple.
So you go in the dark basement, you set up the camera,
Yes.
the computer. I mean,
Try to get a little light, put on a cute little outfit, beat my face, look the part.
Right.
Every little bit helps. So I went down there and I played, I want to say it's 4 songs, like Diva, Crazy in Love, Countdown, and another song. Those might not even be the songs, but I know Diva was one. So I recorded them and did my little edits, the best I could with what I had. And sent them like right away. So then 2 weeks later is the night we went bowling.
got it.
And 2, B had just dropped her surprise album.
With the pink?
Oh, the one that
Yeah.
wasn't advertised.
Yes, that was 2013. It was.
Dang.
She dropped it Friday the 13th. Or whatever.
Yeah, I remember. It
So-
was big in our household.
Yeah.
Because that was the first time she was like, she cussed for the first time. And she had all the music videos. And Drunken Love was the lead single. And Rocket was an amazing song of ministry.
Yes, come on. The song is sour.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God. Well, yeah, and it like stopped the music world for a second.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, snap. What?
So that was crazy. And then, too, like, I'm always looking for, like, confirmation and such. So between him asking me to send the videos and him responding to my videos, that came out. So I was like,
Just like the Diddy sign.
it's, like, so silly. But to me, I was like, man, I think this is it. Like, So he hit me after we come back from bowling, and he called me. We were probably talking on the phone for maybe, like, 2 hours.
Oh, snap.
Maybe 2.5. And he was just kind of, like, just trying to gauge it. He's like, is this something that you really want to do? And I was like, what? Like,
let me think. Do I want to play drums for Beyonce? Well, I have to sell insurance on Monday.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me see.
What's your benefits package?
Play drums for Beyonce or sell insurance?
Yeah.
Let me get back to you.
dude. And I had just stopped working at Geico. It's just everything was just lining up so beautifully.
Yeah.
Like, just amazing. So we had a conversation about, he was kind of prepping me as for what the road would be as far as the music, as far as being a person, coming from the church world, going into...
What do you mean being a person?
Like
Just
around her?
Just just like your personhood and
Got it.
Yeah, kind of
like
like
a person you are.
yeah, and
Got it.
how the toll it can kind of take on just like I don't know, I guess touring in general, like how it can be on you physically, mentally, spiritually, musically. So that 2-hour conversation was full of so many gems.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, wow. So we had our combo, and I was like, heck yeah. In other words, I want to do it. And I didn't go to sleep at all that night.
Oh,
like,
I bet.
I was wired.
Wait, before you get to the going to sleep, your friends are in the room.
Yeah.
And so you're taking that call. As you're, who it is now you're talking to. Before you've even gotten, a minute into your 2-hour conversation, are you to your friends like, like freak? I would, like, if I'm with Kev and it was like, somebody calling like.
It's like that's Dave Chappelle asking if you can come on.
And will you go on this movie? And
Man.
That's the only thing I can think of that. Dave Chappelle wants to know, would you like to be on tour with him?
Or, hey, I want to film your special, Kev. Dave Chappelle, yeah. And so your friends are in the room. Are you telling them, like, or did you go out of the room, or were you telling them like and like this, or what did you do?
It was like a mix. So I was in the living room, and the way our house was at that time, it was like the living room like is big, and then there was like the kitchen. It was like it's kind of like an open area or whatever. So they were in the kitchen, and I was in the living room like.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like what? So like they could hear, of course, only hear me. It wasn't on speaker or anything.
Yeah.
But by the time I got off the phone, they're like,
yeah.
And they knew from that look that's
like,
something serious.
Yes, we were like stoked. Like didn't know what to do. Everybody was just wired. Like
yeah.
I went downstairs in the basement and started practicing drums like right away.
I love how when stuff happens, your immediate thing is, I have to practice. Because what if they call tomorrow and I don't really, what if I don't know the Diddy song? Like, why would she be singing that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe she likes it. Maybe she wants to cover it. Last night, your fingers are just bleeding. I'm just going to get the answer. Joy, why are you crying? I don't know. I'm just so happy. Just love drums.
Just a blessing.
I had a phone call last night. I got the right answer.
I don't want this to be the last night. Oh man,
it's funny.
Oh snap!
Oh my goodness.
So you obviously you get off and you tell them, and everybody just starts screaming and going crazy?
Or do you have to wait until you like after that call? Is it not immediate? Like here's the next date. Do you have to wait till you like hear confirmation?
Kinda like until it was official, like on paper.
Yeah.
Such. So like we were excited, and the thing is, I'm like super private too. So if they weren't in the room, I'm not sure I would have shared it right away.
Because then if you don't get it, now you got to backtrack. I never say nothing.
Comics are, that's...
Never, ever. Because so many times, if I would have said something online of something I almost had, I would look like I'm just making it up.
Yeah.
Until it airs.
Dude, until you're on set, it ain't real. And it don't come out until you're watching it.
My Two Broke Girls thing.
Yes.
I got to roll, the TV show too. I got to roll on there playing a gay dude's love interest.
Hey.
It gets better.
Fiction.
Come on.
Had to kiss the guy, and then they cut the scene. Dude, and the way I found out, and Phil Fox actually came to the taping, and he was dying because I had to kiss this, and the dude has a beard, and I'm just like,
you have a beard.
I know, but
he's saying the same thing about.
Have you ever had whiskers on your lips? Yeah, exactly. It's not a cool feeling if you're not gay. So, the way I found out about it is my buddy was telling me, he's like, you get paid again when they air that. I was like, oh, really? So I called my manager. I go, hey, yeah, my buddy was telling me when this airs, I'm actually going to get paid again. He goes, oh, yeah, that's.
Speaking of airing,
dude, he goes, yeah, that's usually how it works. But I forgot to tell you, yeah, your episode ran long. They cut your scene. Oh. And I just started laughing. And he's used to working with actors. He's like, you're not upset? I was like, nah, it gives this joke a better ending or the story, But that's, I learned from that because I had told people, I'm like, dude, I'm going to be on Two Broke Girls.
Yeah.
Don't worry about what role I'm playing. I'm going to be on Two Broke Girls.
They're just watching it and never.
Yeah, and then it was the season finale. So everybody watched the season finale. They're like, where you at? I was like, I told him I didn't want to be on it. I was like, man, no, I don't want to do that. I'm an artist. No, but,
oh man.
But that's so that I don't. That's why I won't tell people until it airs now.
Hilarious.
Oh
so
man,
that footage just exists somewhere.
Yes,
it's on a hard drive somewhere.
Yeah. Oh man. I still think about Patrick fondly. That was the guy I had to kiss. Anyways, so you were told, but you wasn't official from that call. You still, or was it official at that call?
Yeah, but just not as far as like contracts or anything.
Okay.
But yeah, it's almost like the contracts.
So when you signed, did you get that like, oh snap? Or was it your first rehearsal? Like when did it hit you that my life's finna change?
I think it hit me the sound check, which the sound check at the White House, because the first gig was at the White House.
So hold on. You don't just say that.
Your first gig is at the White House.
Yeah.
For Obama.
Yeah.
Playing for Beyonce.
Yeah.
Dog, get out of my home. Get away from me with that,
dude.
What a freaking...
And how do you just say that? So
off
like sound check at White House. No.
What?
I mean, there's no warm up. There's no hey, we're just gonna do a little thing.
Yeah, that was the first. So I think that's when it like Because it was just so much. It was like,
Yeah.
number one is Beyonce. Number two, well, I don't, whichever order you want to put it in. It's the Obamas. And it's at the White House.
Dude, everywhere you look, you're just like, what? I can't handle
Any
it.
order you put those in, I think people will understand.
Yeah.
Because Obama at that time, at any time,
Man.
is just like, oh my God,
Yeah.
Beyonce. You see that meme with New York where she's like, Beyonce? You're like, Obama, Beyonce, Michelle, the White House.
Man.
How do you even how do you calm yourself down to do your job?
I had a tough time. Oh,
dude.
Just smiling?
Man. And the thing is, like, we did 3 songs, and one of them had a drum solo in it. And it was just so funny. Like, I was just nervous as heck anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So in sound check is like the first time that the rest of the band members like heard me play this solo. Mm-hmm. So like the drums are kind of set on the back of the stage. So like right before the solo comes up, like all the girls turn around pretty much now.
See what you got, kid.
Oh my!
No.
Like I was just like, oh gosh. And I was like, last night, like let's go.
Oh, yeah. Like, holy S.
Oh yes. Oh my goodness. But
So,
like,
I mean, if that's your first gig, does it get like progressively easier from there? Because, I mean,
yeah,
that's a high profile gig to start off from. Like, where do you go next?
man. So luckily it was weird. Like how I started. Well, when I started, a tour was already in progress. So when I started, the first gig was the White House, and that was like a one-off in between the break for the tour. So my second gig, or when I, started playing, was the last part of the Mrs. Carter World Tour.
Got it.
So by that time, with the touring, it was more of like you kind of get into the rhythm of,
Yeah.
But like getting through that and then too, we had prepared 3 songs, and Obama called an encore. So it was
Last
like,
night. No! Why would we even
why?
the Diddy song?
Why, Mr. President? Why?
at the White House. So that was like,
Was that song something that you had a chance to rehearse, or did you just know it?
no, I knew it though because I would study like Beyonce DVDs and
Yeah.
live shows and such. So that's like the only thing that saved me. So
Dang.
they called an encore, and kind of playing off like, no, he's like, no, encore, like he really wanted one.
They're
so,
like, no. You're like, no. This is the president. I want to hear this song.
3
now.
songs, that's it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
So it was like, all right, encore. So they're kind of again looking at me almost like
Yeah.
she's new.
They
like,
do that
what does she
again,
even know? I'm like,
What you gonna
man.
do?
So I just kind of looked at the MD and kind of gave my head nod, like whatever you call, like it's cool.
I got
like,
you.
just that little reassurance, and ended up being irreplaceable. So I'm like, cool. I had played,
Slower song.
and I had knew the little hits and breaks and stuff. So afterwards, everybody's kind of like, whoa, like this and stuff. I'm just like, in my head, like, hey, leave me alone. I just prepared.
Yeah.
Speaking
I
of
was
that,
scared,
was it
but-
weird to like? So they're already touring for however long, and then you're the news person. Is it like?
Yeah.
Is it hard to get into like everybody already knows each other, and you're the new person? Is it weird like to break into that fraternity of musicians?
It was different, but I'm grateful because all the girls are like some of my closest friends still to this day. Like even some of the girls who aren't in the band now, like
Yeah.
we're still like close. So the thing is, like, they were just really warm and welcoming because it could have gone a completely different way.
I
Yeah.
imagine. We had Jade Nova on here. She was talking about like some background singers were rude and some MDs were mean and stuff. And, so it's. I'm glad it worked out for you because I mean, like you're already nervous. The last thing I need is for the people of the band to be mean. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
mean girls.
You mentioned that the White House, that one was like you're kind of like, okay, I've arrived, I'm official, this is my thing.
Yeah.
Was that also the performance where you felt like you got that from the people in the band where they're like, okay, she or was there another time or before that or after that they were like, okay, she's legit, we got the right one?
Man, I think it was at the White House
That,
gig.
so that did a lot all around, like for you and for them.
Because I didn't get a chance to rehearse with the girls before the White House.
Oh,
so, like,
snap.
the MD and I got together and worked on some music. But, like, the first time I saw them was, like, in the lobby going to the White House. So I walked down, and I'm like, hey, everybody.
Yeah, I'm Joy.
Hey, guys. So, like, that was like, woo. So the sound check at the White House is the first time they got to hear me play the music. And that's when they're all kind of like, okay, cool. Like, this is going to go
Wow.
fine type vibe.
Wow. So now you've been playing for. So how many years would you like? How do you count the beginning of your professional career? Is it all the way back to TP Mob, or is it like when you were a drummer for a year? Like how do you quantify that?
I think I would start with Probably Diddy, maybe. So I would probably say 2009.
So this is your 10th year.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Like 10th year of playing drums professionally. Like what has that been like?
Man, it's been a journey for sure. Like, I'm kind of a sponge, so like I like to learn in every environment that I'm in. So I've learned a heck of a lot.
Yeah.
Like so much. Of course, as far as the music and as far as playing, but like my business sense is much more keen.
Oh, how so?
Just thinking more in terms of outside of drums.
Yeah, because I know we're going to talk about your career as a musician. Because I bought Moonlight.
Hey.
I bought your song. That was a couple of years ago, and I've seen you perform live. I know that's something you do, which a couple of people I know who play for people or sing for people, they always have their own thing, which I think is smart because you just never know when somebody's like, all right, I'm not going to work this year.
True.
They're like, bro, but my bill's going to be due this year. You know what I mean?
I got bills this year.
So your business sense has gotten stronger. Was that from being with that group of people or just from touring and being a professional drummer?
I would say from touring in general, but more so from the camp that I work with now, because there's always something impeccable going on on stage and off stage. So just seeing like the marketing ideas and just like the networking aspect. So my thing is almost like, just getting to be friends and having a good relationship with different people in different departments of the tour. Because it's like, if I need advice on, what type of lights to buy, I can hit the chief lighting guy and say, hey, what do you think, blah, blah, blah. So it's just...
That's like a great college.
Yeah.
For being a professional. Man, I went to Beyonce concert and when I was walking to the stadium and I saw how many trucks they had, I was just like, I mean, it's insane.
It's
the
massive.
amount of it's like moving a small city around.
It is.
Like the amount of crew and internet and band and singers and dancers and all that stuff. Like, how do you even like move like that?
Man.
Like it's... I can't imagine what it's like because it is
a lot.
It is a machine.
It really is. It runs like a well-oiled machine too. Like I don't know how everybody manages to keep it together all the time.
Yeah.
Because there's so many working parts, but it is massive. Like I think this year alone we had like 29 tour buses or something like that. Like it's something like ridiculous. Like
29 tour buses.
Yeah.
How many people are on your
bus? I'm
bus?
not mistaken.
Or is it just Joyce?
Coming soon, no, this way. But I kind of hopped around on buses this time around. Yeah, like just for a different perspective. So the one bus I was on, and part of the reason I switched to a different bus because it had a lot of people on it. But I think that had maybe 11 people on it.
Wow.
And I was kind of like, oh, this is nice. This is a little crowded. So I went to another bus, and that bus had 7 people. So just more.
So when you came, they were like, it's 8 now.
right.
Diva.
Ain't no problem now.
What was it like the first time you met Beyonce?
That was at the White House.
Oh, it was.
That White House
dude, that thing
literally-
is, that's why
you didn't have no chance to meet anybody else before you have to actually play.
Man, that White House gig was a beast. Like
you met 2 first ladies.
right. The queen and the first lady.
Man.
So it was just that whole experience was like just all the factors.
Yeah.
Like meeting the artist for the first time, meeting the Obamas, and playing the gig. Like it was just all like.
Were you trying to act cool when like not cool like oh I'm cool but like yourself like relax don't look her in the eyes
I was trying but whenever I try to act cool I end up acting weird.
Yes.
Hi. Like what? Where did she come from?
So nice to meet you.
So I have to learn. Like I've learned to just keep it even. Like just really be you. So because when I try to act cool, I look like
That's
boo.
So I have a question. So Beyonce to the average person is like Beyonce, right? You work with Beyonce on a personal level. How long did it take for you to be like, all right, I'm just at work, because that from the White House gig of the Obamas and Beyonce, and then now I'm just like. Obviously it's not the same now.
What's up, B?
Yeah. But how long were you just like, not like she's not whatever, but just like this, you don't get the butterflies anymore. It's just another day in the office.
It took a long time. And to be honest, I don't even know if I'm completely there all the time.
Do you ever see her be like, God, there she is? That's her.
She's just as dope in real life.
Right.
But yeah, like I'm closer now than I was at the White House, as far as like just being cool. Because I think maybe, and I turned 30 this year too. So like,
happy birthday.
Thank you. So like just the perspective. So I'll say maybe like last year's when I ended up getting like really comfortable.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know, so it took me that's a long time.
That's
it's 5 years that I've been with her. So it took me like 4 years to kind of be like, all right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Another
what
day
you
in
just
office.
reminded me of something else. So the music industry can be really cold.
Yeah.
I mean, people get. I've heard people. Robert Glasper was talking about he got fired from a gig and he had been practicing for 3 months. Like, is for you? Do you have that like? When you're looking over your shoulder, like I can get replaced at any time, or you like feel pretty confident in where you are?
I'll say more so the latter, but it's also a space of hunger still.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm never in a place of like, oh man, like, feet kicked up with, a glass of lemonade in the shade or anything like that. But I do feel confident in my diligence and I feel confident in my gift.
Yeah.
So those two things allow me to feel, stable enough.
Yeah.
And not feel like,
Yeah.
if I drop a stick, it's,
Right.
that's my A,
That's actually somebody asked that exact question. Like, what do you do if you drop a stick?
And how many?
Or break
And how
one?
many you go through?
Oh man, I play really, really hard, but I also use a thick drumstick. I use the Vader Fatback 3A.
Oh yeah, the Fatback 3A.
That's why you said
I love those. Those are great.
Yeah.
I like
The Vaders?
Fatback, the food as well.
Fatback.
we also have Fatbacks.
Speaking of Fatback,
Are those your signature sticks?
well,
Or are you sponsored by them? Is what I mean.
yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
I endorse Vader drumsticks, and the thing is, I don't have a signature stick necessarily, but just for the tour, since formation in this tour, I just like to get my signature put on like a certain amount of sticks.
Okay, got
And
it.
hand them out to the kids and such.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But one day I'd like to have a signature stick
Yeah.
that sells in stores. I don't want to like push them out of my trunk or anything, but I'm believing for a signature stick one day.
So you have you play for Beyonce and you also are your own artist.
Yeah.
So what's that like? Because I've seen you play live and it seemed to me you were just as passionate, if not more, to play your music. Like, what's that feeling between playing in front of 70,000 people of Beyonce's music and playing your music live to your fans?
Man, it's almost like a similar feeling. Like, you think I'd be more excited to play in front of 70,000 drums, but I think for me, the artistry, being like a nascent artist, like it's still kind of new to me. So if I perform my original music in front of like
70 people.
70, 80
Yeah.
people, I am stoked.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
like, it's my expression, and it's, music that most of the music I produced. So it's like music that I've created and written. So that it's almost like, I won't say
On
the
par?
same feeling, but yeah, it's very close.
That's amazing because I feel like I imagine we had Jade Nova on and she was saying the same thing. Like, you singing background, she sang for Rihanna for a couple of years. She said you're in these like humongous, like I think she did the National Mall. She was like there was just thousands of people, and then she sings her own music for her fans, and she was saying like it's the same type of thing. So I was curious to that because that's like the highest level versus something so personal to you. You know what I mean? Like because. And musicians who write up, you think comedians are, like sensitive about their art. You make music for people to consume. Like the thing about comedy, like I say a joke and you don't laugh, the next time they might laugh. So I'm just like, I don't know, could have been the crowd. But your music, like you have written that. I guess it's very similar actually to comedy. We've written that material and you're presenting it for the world, but we just never get to be behind Beyonce. I actually wanted to ask you something. So a lot of people know you play for Beyonce. Do people hit you up for tickets all the time?
Oh my goodness. Like, and the thing is, like that to me, that's the worst part about tour. Like that's the thing that I don't look forward to, knowing that I'm about to go on tour. And the thing is, like, I'm one of the most generous people, like of all time. Like I will give like the shirt off my back. So that's part of the thing too. The quantity of comp tickets that I have is not a lot at all. So knowing that somebody wants it and I can't do it, that bothers me. And then it's just the large amount of requests.
People asking don't even know you. Well, heard you had the hookup.
And then do those same people, then they won't come support you when you're doing your own thing? Or will they still come support?
Yeah, I guess I won't put that much on the people. They still show love.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Because I'll explain to them, like, literally, I only have this amount, and usually they go to my family. So, like, once you explain it, they get
And
it.
no matter where I'm at,
Yeah, exactly.
My family, don't matter.
You're in Ireland. Yeah, my family though. I mean, on my mom's side.
It's a big family. The drummer family is a big family.
I'm going to ask this question just how it was written. What kind of snare you got?
I saw that one. They wrote it just like that.
What kind of snare you got?
Yeah, I'm going to get right to it. But I have the latest snare I have is DW. I'm signed to DW as a drum artist, but they made a custom snare. It's like a 16 by 10. So it's like very, very tone heavy. Like when you hit it, it gives you almost like if any of the drummers listen to Chris Dave, but like that deep Chris Dave sounds like like real soulful.
Chris Dave for sure.
And it stands on legs too, so it's not on a snare stand. Like it actually has its own legs.
Wait, really?
Yeah, so it'll look like a tom if you look at it. It'll look like a floor tom.
Snap.
So it's cool. It's a black.
When's the last time you had to set your own drums up?
Well,
Been that long? You're like, I don't twist. I don't tune. Tune? Do they tune them for you to your liking?
Yeah.
Shut up, Joy. How do they know what you like?
Just over the years kind of thing. Like, so my drum tech, his name is we call him Magoo. And he's been in a Beyonce camp since like Destiny's Child. So he used to tech for like Gerald and Nikki Glaspie and like, so everybody who's had the seat, like he's been their tech. So I kind of had to get used to him because before Magoo, I didn't have a drum tech, and I'm very hands-on with everything. Yeah. So it would be a point where, like, in the beginning, he'd be working on something, and I'd be over in the corner, like, working, and he'd be like, hey, like, I'm like, my bad, I just want to, just lower it a little bit.
She's just doing it with one hand. I'm going to get out your way, man. Let me just, I just kind of like it my way.
You're like, Joy, I got you. I'm like, okay. So it took me a while to, like, just, like, sit back and be like, But
so now do you just come sit down like sticks?
Yeah. They just come down.
Just lower it onto
into your hands, ready to go.
Coconut water, please.
Yeah.
No, just like.
Do you have this is one of the questions we got. What's your favorite song by Beyonce and favorite song to play?
My favorite song to play by Beyonce is I Care. I think that's probably at the top of my list because it's so drum heavy.
Yeah.
Like it has all the toms in it. And it actually takes like a decent amount of coordination to play it. It's not just like a easy little, So that's one of my favorite songs to play. My favorite song to listen to? Probably Rather Die Young from 4. That's like one of the most musical songs to me.
From 4?
Yeah. Rather Die Young.
Oh, 4. I haven't heard. I'm sorry. I wanted to be more musical for you, but I do not know. I figure you consume a lot more music than we do anyway. Somebody else asked, what rudiments do you find yourself playing the most?
Oh, man. I play the 6-stroke roll a heck of a lot. I base a lot of my drum rolls off of that. Like I'll start it on the snare and move it around between the toms. And I play a lot of...
You could be saying anything right now. I literally...
It could be in German. I don't know.
And I'm trying to like...
Kevin and I just keep looking at each other like, let her go.
And
just let her go.
Drums,
they know what they're doing.
Played rudiments. But yeah, I mean, somebody who's a drummer knows what you just said.
I mean, that's what the show's for. I asked you that one already, so I'm not going to ask you that one again. Do you ever still play drums at church?
I do. I enjoy playing drums at church. I don't play regularly.
Because nobody set your drums up for you.
Oh.
Magoo, I'm going to be at First Baptist. If you could just
9 a.m.
set it up before praise and worship, I appreciate it.
That is funny. When I do my own gigs, like the gig you saw, like I set up my drums.
I saw.
Yeah, so like.
I was like, I'm going to see if Joy going to keep it funky. And you were like, and I was like, okay, she's not afraid to. But then Magoo came and finished off.
Magoo, that's great.
Magoo.
What's the range of pay? I don't want to say how much do you make, but we'll say
she pulled up in the range.
Okay.
I was going to say, what is the range of a drummer? Like, let's say starting out, maybe an independent group, up to like the most successful drummer. What's that range from?
That's a very wide range.
Right.
Like very, very wide. So a group just starting out.
Chicken strips? That's like
tenders.
Yeah.
White House meal.
Yeah.
Filet-O-fishes.
It's a wide range. This is rough, but I'll say maybe like anywhere from maybe like 400 to maybe like, let's just say.
A gig? You're saying a gig or a month or?
Maybe weekly.
Okay.
Let's say weekly. Okay. Like maybe 400 to maybe 6 or 7. 100,000. Yeah.
Wait.
That's a rough.
Hold on. Time out. 600. I can't even talk. 600,000 a week?
No.
Not 600,000.
6,000 a week.
Maybe 6 or 7.
Dear God, I almost passed out. I'm like, I'm going to learn to play the drums. Who's your all-star band?
Oh, this is a good one.
Keys, bass, drums, guitar, horns.
Oh wow. So I would probably have to have like 3 all-star bands.
Really?
Yeah, so like everybody's so dope. But
Here, to make it easy, should we say I'll put this limit on it. You can't pick anybody that you work with currently. Just so that so nobody will feel left out if you don't mention them.
okay. Nobody from the Beyonce band?
Right.
Okay. Okay, so can I do more than one band?
Do more
Sure,
than one.
do whatever you want.
We just want to hear who you like,
Yeah.
really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or this band is a super band and you got 3 drummers, 8
Yeah.
horn players, 2. I mean, keys, you can have as many as you want.
That's
It's
true.
really the drummers that are limited,
Okay.
which is why the drummer is such a powerful position because there's
That's
one
right.
drummer. The keys be having 8 keys players, but the drummer is the drummer.
Houston.
So who's enjoys all-star band?
Okay, so for drums, I would have 2 drummers for this band. I would do Chris Dave, who I mentioned already before, and Cleon Edwards from Dallas. Ridiculously dope. Like he toured with Corey Henry for a while.
I like Corey Henry.
Ridiculous. Bass, I would probably have Derek Hodge, who plays with Chris Dave regularly, so they already had that little
Chris Dave is
chemistry.
high on your list.
Chris Dave is like he is a drum god, like
Yeah.
ridiculous. So bass Derek Hodge. I'll probably have keys. I'll probably put Mickey on keys, Mickey Miller.
Mickey Miller.
I would also put
Big
YPJ
fan.
on keys too.
YPJ, he's nasty.
Man,
He is. That's Mickey. I do know these people.
Yeah.
That's Mickey's brother. He's a pastor.
like
He be playing on the ground where he's nice.
like he created a ridiculous sound, like
Yeah.
dream music sound. Like, so I would put them both on keys.
Really? The Miller family on keys.
Miller family. I would put Frank Mocha on percussion. He plays with Badu right now. He's nuts.
She's a great performer live, by the way.
Yeah.
She DJ'd and then performed and then went back to DJing.
She is
Damn.
a beast,
Yeah.
and she plays percussion during her set too.
Really?
Yes.
She didn't do that time.
She is
Now I
like
feel like I didn't
She
do
did?
the best show. Huh, we'll talk about it,
got
Erica.
gypped. Guitar, I'll probably put Agape. Agape Woodland. Let's see. Oh, horns, I would probably Keon Harold. He plays trumpet, but I would probably have him put together like a superstar horn section.
See, and that's how if you know Keon, he picks you,
Yeah.
and now you're playing for George Van, and she don't even know you. She don't know who's
Yeah.
on sax. Keon, take care of my horn. And that's how it works in the music
Like
business.
background singers, Kevin J. You've heard of them, right?
And I think I would have Guru DJ. So that would be that's
Guru,
Jay's
turn me up in the
DJ.
headphones.
Turn me up, go up.
All right.
So that would be one band. And then my other band,
Oh, yeah.
that would be like my groovy, like vibes band. My band for like more like a fusion sound would probably be Dana Hawkins on drums, Bubby Lewis on bass. I would probably put Tim Stewart on guitar and probably have Corey Henry on organ. That would be
Big
kind
fan
of like,
Corey Henry.
that would be scary.
He is. I'm gonna tell you why people like you and Corey are the reason I stopped playing music. Because I'm serious. When I played bass, you could teach me something and I could play it. Like I could practice it and get whatever you did. I could practice and get it.
Okay.
And then I talk to people like, "Hey man, what did you just do there?" And they'd be like, "I don't know, man. I just be playing. I don't really be thinking about it." And that's why we're like, that's the gift part of it, where they don't really know what they're about to do until they do it. So when you're going off, are you thinking, okay, tom, four tom, okay, bass, or you just does
Feeling
it just
it.
flow out of your body like freely?
Yeah, most of the time it just flows. Like,
See, that's what I be talking about, bro.
It's like
That's why you can't tell nobody, because you really don't know.
Right.
You're not even like trying to like keep it. You really
Right,
just
just-
play and it comes out.
or it'll be like, play that again. I'll be like, oh man, I'll try to play it and be like,
What did I do?
lost it. Yeah.
Have you ever did something you just like, whew, your girl is on?
You just stopped.
today.
Hold on, guys. I need a minute. Whoa, that was. I don't know
Step
if
back
you
three of
guys.
jumpers.
Yeah.
and one. You feel like you just dunked on somebody. Bow.
I enjoy some of the stuff I play. Like my sister laughs at me sometimes.
Yeah.
Like if we listen to a playback or watch a video, I'll be like, "Woo!" She'd be like, "You make yourself happy, don't you?"
Woo! Who's that on drum? Me?
Now, do you still actually like practice, or is it? And if you do, how often do you practice? How long? Or is it more that you're at a level now where your practice is just repetition of at the concerts and stuff?
Man, not necessarily. Like I do still practice. Like I feel like I have to, because on drums, to me, it's easy to get rusty. Like if you take a few days off from drums, when you go back to it, it's gonna take you a minute
That's what happened to
to
me.
you know get.
Yeah.
Took a day or two off. I had lost it.
Next thing I know,
Next thing I know,
3
I got
years later,
2 kids, and I work at Boeing. Like, I should have been on the road.
making $600,000 a week.
600,000.
Yeah. So how often do you practice and how long?
Man, I practice every day, but
Wow.
with my schedule, I'm not able to like practice how I used to. I used to practice like hours, like at least 6 hours.
Yeah.
But now
Dang.
my schedule doesn't allow me to do that. So if I can at least get an hour in, like at least, that's like good.
So do you have a drum set at every place you live at? Or I mean, I know you don't live at multiple places, but when you're like in a hotel, how are you able to practice? Do you have practice pads?
That's a good question. Yeah, practice pads. I have my practice pad, and then DW sent me a practice pad kit. So it's like multiple
Shout out
pads.
to DW.
So you just set it up in your hotel room
Yeah.
and just sit on the bed
Or I have a stool too. But
that you travel with?
well, Magoo helps me with that. Like he'll put it like
Magoo,
adjust the stool.
Up now,
Adjust
Magoo.
my stool.
Well, no. Well,
I know you don't treat him like that.
he'll make
Magoo's
sure.
gonna be like, I hate those dudes.
Like he'll put the practice kit on the tour bus for me. So when we get get to
okay.
a city, I'll take them off and like set them up in my room.
Oh, so you do still set up just your practice stuff, but not my
Yeah.
show rig.
Yeah.
Nah.
With these nails.
Now, with so much practicing, with so much playing, and for doing it for so long, is there like a thing as a drummer you get arthritically, so to speak, or like
like carpal tunnel?
Yeah, or something with your hands, or or is there certain like your elbows get sore or anything like that long term?
Not for me long term. Because posture is a part of it too. So and how you like hit the drums and such. But I did have an issue when I was filming Black Girls Rock the first year, 2013, and my left hand just started hurting. I wasn't familiar with like carpal tunnel or anything like that. But I was like, man, like every time I would hit the snare, like my hand would just like ache. And I was like, man. And we hadn't even filmed yet. Like we were like sound checking. I was
Yeah.
it's not about to be good. So back when I used to like post everything, I posted like, oh man, my hand hurts and I'm playing drums or like something silly. And Little John Roberts reached out and he was like, man, like you have to be careful of that. He's like, that could be carpal tunnel. And he's like, you have to like, I'm paraphrasing, but like be careful as to how you're hitting the drum, like the position of your hand and such. So that was like a little wake up call for me.
Wow.
Like, uh-oh.
Because
Like,
without that,
Man.
this is how I pay my rent.
Hello?
Yeah.
That rent gonna come regardless of what your hands do.
Hello?
Can a drummer get into the industry without the ability to read notes?
Yes, you can get into the industry with playing by ear, but knowing theory and knowing how to read music will take you much further. Like certain gigs, of course, you can play. Like with the gig that I have, we don't necessarily have to read music. But if I want to, go sit in with the Philharmonic, or if I want to, certain television shows, they will give you charts because you don't have much time to learn stuff by ear. Like if you're playing like 48 songs, I have to know them,
Dang.
run them down in like an hour and a half or something. Like you'll need those charts to read. So you can make it, but I would suggest reading too. Like
Do you read?
Yeah.
How do you? I don't even understand how you read music for drum. Actually, I don't understand how you read music. Period.
Right.
But for drums, it doesn't tell you when to hit the toms, or does it?
Yes, it's rhythms, and the illustration will tell you which drum it is, basically.
I am fascinated. My wife reads music and plays sax. I'm fascinated by you like reading something and knowing how to do it. Also fascinated with people who can sing and play the piano or guitar. Because I tried, it's just like I word sing, play, I sing, play. I cannot do both at the same. It's just like, and that's what I love about music is just like, I feel like God has gifted people certain things, and to watch somebody at the like top of their game, like operate in that gift, and you're just like, man. And the same thing with comedy. Like when I watch Jay, or like Jay, one of my favorite comedians, when you watch somebody who's just having a great set, you're just like, this is God's gift.
Wow.
Because when you are dying laughing at somebody,
That's facts.
you cannot think about nothing sad. When you are dying laughing, you cannot think about nothing sad. You're just like, man, I might pee, which is a good thing at that.
Do you play any other instruments? And also, what drew you to drums over any other instrument?
I play other instruments, but not like I wouldn't be able to have the gig I have on other instruments. If that makes sense.
600,000 a week. I'm just gonna keep saying that.
I play a little bass. I play keys. Like I play keys enough to produce the ideas that I hear in my head, and then I'll like send it to a real keyboard player and be like, hey, like can you like actually play? So I do that. But drums, I don't know. I just feel like drums just with rhythm. Like to me, rhythm comes innate to most people. Like our hearts beat, a certain way. We walk to a certain rhythm. So to me, it just felt like the most natural instrument.
That's interesting. So do you kind of see the world in rhythms, so to speak?
Yeah. I'm not
No,
sure.
I mean, just the way you said that, you're like,
Trying to think,
you walk in, you're saying, you mentioned that, you're like, you walk, there's a rhythm to it, your heart beats, like, maybe the way, like they talk about in comedy, comedians have a certain rhythm to their cadence and how they deliver jokes and stuff. So I'm wondering if that's like a byproduct of being a drummer, you kind of see the world in rhythmic timing, so to speak.
I like that. I'm going to say yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that in the next interview. Like, I see the world.
The next interview, you'll bring it up. You're like, I kind of see the world. Like, they'll be like, dang, that was deep. You're like, yeah, I've always felt that way.
Discovered it last week.
So
I like that.
take me forward in your life. All right. So moving forward, what excites you the most about your career?
Oh, man.
It's a great question because you said, oh, man.
That is a good question.
And that was my question, Jay. I didn't just read a good question. I asked one.
You birthed that
You
question.
asked it?
I asked it.
Man, I think I'm excited to like push the limits. Like drumming has always been a dream, like always. And then after getting to a certain point in drums, I was like, man, one day I want to do movies. And I'm very specific. Like
You
when
were
I
in Pitch Perfect 3.
Yeah.
You were acting in it.
And I'm just like, and the thing is like, I'm kind of a spiritual person and I'm very specific with the things that I want, like when I'm praying or the things that I'm speaking. And like before the movie came up, I was like, okay, I want to get into movies. And I'm like, I kind of want to ease my way in. Like I would like to have a role that's easy to me. So maybe like start off having the role of a drummer and then the next film, maybe I'll, develop into something else. So like for the movie to come along exactly how I prayed for it to is nuts. So I would like to do more movies and I would like to actually want to like get into comedy one day.
What?
One day.
Jay and I are, I don't know how you feel.
No, I'm the same. Yeah.
I welcome
Like,
anyone to
way down
comedy.
the line,
It's a great profession. Making people laugh is very fun. So
I
if
like
you ever
making
need
people
any
laugh.
help, you want to work your set out,
And-
it's your boy.
Hey.
I
And
would
just
help
like
you out.
music, 600,000 a week.
Hey.
First year.
Let's go.
I want to ask a totally very specific question.
Okay.
Beyonce's Coachella performance. Okay. Well, it's a two-parter. First of all, it starts out on you. Okay. We played it. Josh put it in.
Hey.
Okay. Also, that was about a 2-hour, little over 2-hour performance that we had never seen. There's 8,000 musicians on stage. How long did you have to practice for that?
That was a long time. Like, I don't even remember when we started rehearsing, but
So much rehearsal. I just don't even remember when we
I
started.
was still in college.
right after I played last night for Diddy, I started working on Coachella.
Yeah, exactly.
But we rehearsed for like a long time.
Dang.
I'm really trying to think of when rehearsals started. Coachella was in what? March?
Yeah, I
April.
think it was April of 2018. Yeah, we were on tour. We were on tour, and we were celebrating Tahir's birthday. Melissa was like, we have to stop and go back to the hotel because they're streaming Beyonce's Coachella performance. It was like 2 a.m. when it started, and we had to leave the next day. We stayed up till 4:30 because once it started, you're just like, well, I'm just gonna be watching this until whatever happens tomorrow. The next day was awful. It was the worst travel day ever, but it was worth it because we saw like the performance of our lifetime. But anyway, just give you perspective of how impactful it was.
Wow.
But I think, it wasn't. I said all that to say it was in April
Thank you.
to help you remember when you started rehearsals.
It was several weeks for sure. Like I honestly can't remember when we started, but like we rehearsed for a long
And how long are those rehearsals?
long time. Rehearsals vary. So like a short rehearsal or a regular rehearsal is probably about 8 hours. Like that's kind of normal to be like.
Wait. What?
Yeah.
A short rehearsal is 8 hours?
To me, it is like that's kind of like normal.
But she also said she
It's
practiced on her own, like she was doing 6-hour practice sessions on her own.
Yeah.
So what's a long rehearsal? 10, 12 hours?
The longest rehearsal I've ever been in, and that was right before I started the tour. The first tour that I did was like 17 hours.
Dang.
In one day?
Yeah.
For how many days? Like multiple days like that?
Well,
Is that legal?
that man? Well, we were in Glasgow.
trying to get Beyonce
so I don't
shut
know,
down?
like, I don't.
You were
It might have been
you
legal
rehearsed
over
for
there.
17 days in Scotland.
17 hours. Yeah.
I mean, hours.
It was crazy.
There's only 24 hours in a
Yeah.
day.
Right. It
So
was.
you woke
sleep-
up and went to rehearsal and then went back to sleep.
Yep.
Dang.
It was crazy. And the thing is, I was excited about it because I was like, man, I used to watch the stuff like this on the DVDs.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
real. So, like, I was excited for a while.
And then hour
For 17 hours,
an
right?
hour 12, you're like, ugh, 5 more hours.
So you like who is
17
like
hours.
like do you know ahead of time you're going to be rehearsing that long, or you guys just keep going and you're just like, bruh?
Yeah, you know what time you'll start rehearsal, but like with rehearsals like those, you're not sure.
And
are you like-
are you looking at the other people like, man, we on hour? This is 17 hours.
I'm
man."
hungry.
Yeah.
I imagine I'd be hungry. That's all I can think about. Like, bruh, can we get some Popeyes in here?
Give me some Popeyes. Nah.
Who runs rehearsals? Is it the MD?
Yeah, he runs rehearsal. It's different people. Like he runs the band rehearsals, but like the lighting people and like the content, they
about
have to
that.
rehearse too. So it's like
And they have to rehearse with the band?
sometimes.
Do you have somebody who plays drums for you when you're just like, I don't want to do this? Magoo.
Michael,
He's just over there like, dang.
can't help you, Joy.
So what was, okay, now that we know you rehearsed for 10, 12 hours for, let's say 6 weeks for Coachella.
Okay.
How did you feel knowing that show started off on I was screaming. But you know, this is the first shot of that performance is you. Did you pee a little bit?
Did you know? Did you know that it was gonna start out on you?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
So I was kind of like, I don't know. You guys not get really nervous. I was nervous.
Oh, I bet.
Only
be like-
everyone in the world's watching it.
Dude, literally
It
until
like
they
broke
start.
streaming records for Coachella,
Oh.
didn't it? Yeah, it like broke all the records for streaming in the world ever.
Man,
I would be like, I got any boogers on? I up until the minute that they're like, we're filming, I would be checking everything.
Yeah, I was nervy for sure.
Nervy?
Yeah.
I was nervy.
Because I mean, the thing, I know you can play, but that
Yeah.
is like,
Dude.
people
Yeah.
were, the funniest thing about this, they were killing Post Malone because just wanted to see Beyonce. They're like, bro, if you don't get your musty stuff off the stage, he is a huge artist. And they're like, boy, if you don't get your stanking, greasy butt off the stage. They were so
Get
mean
your
to-
A off the stage.
Get your
they
A
were
off
so
the
mean to him
stage.
on because they just
Hilarious.
was. Oh, okay. That takes me to the next
So
question.
mean. He just tried
What
to
is
do
it
this.
like? So you play for Beyonce. That means the Beehive, they know who her security guard is.
Oh, wow,
so I
yeah.
know they know who you are. Like, do you have any crazy stories of being on tour and people wanting to get close to you because they know you're close to her?
Not really. Not too much. Like,
Do you have male groupies?
some admirers out there.
What a very polite way to say it.
Some callers at my
Some
door.
admirers out
Yeah.
there. What's your craziest tour story, or just anything that's happened?
I think one of the craziest things was probably the last tour in Atlanta when the fan rushed the stage.
Oh, snap.
Oh.
You were on stage for that.
Yeah, so it's like I think the scariest thing was just the unknown, like not knowing
yeah.
what's
Yeah,
going
yeah,
on.
yeah,
You
yeah,
just
yeah.
see like all these people running, and it's like you're trying to play like the show like
Yeah.
finale song.
You're
so it's
trying to
like,
look
whoa.
down.
Yeah.
It's like, what is going on? So just like not knowing what's going. I think that's what was like crazy to me. I'm just like, what's happening? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that was a little bit crazy. And then we played the venue again the next night.
And she turned around. So good.
So I think that was.
I
probably,
believe she is the best performer on this earth.
yeah, she.
And it's not even close.
ridiculous.
Like, we don't even need to
Anita
have a
Baker?
discussion. Love her. Love her.
Long time fan.
Long time fan.
That was the funniest thing in the world.
Yes.
Your mom. That was
My
so
mom sold
funny.
me out.
That was the funniest.
She
thing.
set me up for this part of my life, and she knew the whole time.
And then she started singing the song.
That was she
classic.
lied to me.
Oh.
She could have shared that music with me the whole time.
Shout out to Mama Kev on stage.
Shout out to my mom, Sheila. Mom on stage.
Mama on
We're
stage.
running out of questions. Jay, do you have more?
No, I've got mine.
I just want to talk a little bit about Vinzella Joy, the artist.
Hey.
What was the moment where you were like, you know what? I'm at this because I know you released your first single that I purchased. I still have it on my phone.
Hey.
When you were working with Beyonce, what's the thing that clicked in your head that you were like, you know what? I gotta also do my thing.
Man, part of it is it takes little things for me to like spark a whole movement. Like, I don't know, like we were on the road and I think it was maybe the first OTR and it was just something simple. We were talking about on off days going and just playing at some clubs and stuff. And the horn player, Caddy, who's like one of my really close friends, she was like, man, like guys, because she has music too, and some of the other girls. And she was like, we should just all learn each other's music. So like when we go out to the clubs and stuff, we can like be each other's band.
Yeah.
Smart.
And I was like, man, I'm like, that's cool. And I thought to myself, I'm like, man, I don't have any music. So like that little thing was like, you got to start creating music too.
Yeah.
Like to establish your brand, establish your sound. So that was probably in 2014. So just that one little idea just set the whole
You're
thing
like, what's
on
your
fire
music,
for
Joy?
me.
You're like, I know how. I need to make.
You're like, you guys go ahead. I'm done with the 17 hours of practice.
I'm sleeping on my off day. You guys go out there and play in those clubs.
So that was the moment that created your solo career, so to speak.
Yeah, like it's just something little. And I was like, man, I need to have my own music. And then once I started creating it and like performing, I was like, man, like this is a wave. So
Yeah.
I've been like really, you saw me like I go like a little crazy. Like it's just fun.
You
like,
went ham. And you know what was great about that show is you, Mickey, Blanche, Jay.
Yeah.
I love personally going to shows like that where people, before they are big and the audience are small, and you're like, man, this is like, why aren't they huge yet? You know what I mean? Like I saw some dope artists, and I know you have one. I don't know when this is going to air, but in a couple weeks you have a show at Los Globos. So you have your own stuff kind of going. Is that ever? I don't know. I guess I'm curious about. Do you ever think about where you're going to be like, you know what? I have to move on and go my own way, or does that thought creep into your mind? Or you like, it's kind of, I got Magoo.
70,000.
80,000 is the number keep going up.
Yeah.
90,000 a week.
90,000 people.
Yeah.
But I think my thing, I'm just trying to be good at multitasking.
Got it.
So
Got it.
I'm
I guess
trying
it doesn't
to-
have to be either or. You can do both.
Yeah, like
PJ Morton plays from Room 5 and then he goes on tour for, I mean, he does a lot of dates.
he's a huge example to me, and like Jamie Foxx is somebody who I kind of
Oh, yeah.
aspire
So
to as
talented,
for
dude.
all of the
That's
career-
an unfair amount of talent.
Dude, that
God
guy,
gave him.
yeah.
There's no
Man.
reason you should be that good at that many things.
He does it
Seriously.
all.
He
like,
won an Oscar.
And kills all of them.
And his I Might Need Security is my top 5 stand-up specials.
that
And he
was
plays
hilarious.
and sings
Yeah,
and raps.
and I'm like, so like he's kind of who I aspire to in that regard, as far
Got
as
it, yeah.
So I'm like, if I can do it all flawlessly and simultaneously, like that's what I'm gonna try to continue to do. So
That's awesome. Before we let you go, I want to ask one tour question.
okay,
Is it the most lavish thing ever? Because we were talking to Jade Nova, and we don't care when these air. Just watch them all, and you'll know.
Yeah.
When you binge
Watch
watch
all
this,
of
you'll
it.
know. She was like, man, she was on tour with Rihanna, and then she went on tour by herself, and she was like, oh, I like Rihanna.
Yeah.
Because she was like, when you're, I think she was B Party with Rihanna, and it's like all the food you could want per diem, and then when she's on her own, it's like a van and stuff like that. Is it the similar thing for you?
I'll say it's similar.
Yeah.
Like your own tours. Like I've only done one tour as an independent artist, and I did that in 2017 with Mickey Miller. And the thing with that though, our dates were I'm like the impresario of it all too. So I'm like the one like booking all the stuff.
Yeah.
I couldn't manage to book the dates like back to back. So we played around and called it the spot date tour. So for us, like,
Oh, that's cool. I know what spot dates are.
so like we didn't have like the vans and stuff necessarily because the dates were so far apart. So
Yeah,
we
yeah,
would
yeah.
just fly in and
Yeah.
like, do a day there. But like I'm very comfortable on my gig though. Like the tour, like very comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, like,
You're not sharing rooms or anything like that, right?
man.
I wish someone would.
Somebody would.
Was it like from the
The
very
Goobies
beginning?
in there adjusting.
From the very beginning?
Yeah, I've never shared a room
Dang.
ever. Well, on the gospel tour, I'd shared.
Of course. Girls in here. Girls. How many are in here?
But nah, it's very comfortable. I'm grateful for that. So I'm just, just working.
I just imagine you on a balcony in Spain like, can I have some grape slices? Grape slices? Yes. Cut them like oranges.
Cut them in four.
Yeah. Peel them.
Me a two-
Peel those grapes.
I can't deal with the skin of it all. Okay, before we let you go, tell the people where they can find you, what you're working on, anything they can buy, purchase, or listen to, stream, anything.
For sure. My website is vinzelajoy.com. That has all of my merchandise. I brought you guys some swag too. Some
Did
little,
you?
Some little wristbands and
I
stuff.
was going to say, if it's a shirt, I'm pretty sure it won't fit me. But I'm glad it's a wristband. I'll probably use it as a ring.
You know, use your drip however you will.
Thank you. Thank you.
Drip, you know. But BenzellaJoy.com has everything. It has my upcoming dates. It has my merchandise. It also has my music. You can stream it or buy it. You don't have to buy it necessarily, but you can listen to it on the site. Joy the Drummer is my Instagram and my Twitter. My Twitter goes a little crazy sometimes, just random thoughts and such. A lot of letter cursing goes on there.
Letter cursing for sure.
But yeah, I'm working on a lot. Like I'm working on more music. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to drop a single. I'm hoping next week. My engineer Brandon just sent me a mix today, so if that's like the cleanest mix, I'll probably
if that's ready before Josh could throw it on here.
Hey,
we could link to it. The people can know how to listen to it.
I'm down for that. And I'm doing some TV stuff. I have a Netflix taping on Friday, and I'm doing Late Night with Seth Meyers again.
Snap.
Next week in New York, so I'm excited about that. That's where I'm hoping the single will be done by then, so he can, show some love to it. And I got the live show coming up, and I'm just happy, man.
Joy?
I'm happy. I'm excited.
You booked and busy, as they say. Thank you so much for being on the show. This has been a fantastic episode. This is Ask a Drummer with Joy the Drummer,
Hey.
Big Irish J, Kev on stage. Thank you for watching. God bless you. God keep you. We'll see you at the conference.
See you at the conference.